It was in fact mental illness. I was not trans. This just goes to show you, it's a fucking TikTok trend.
First day of college. First day of sophomore year.
It's a trend. How many people are going to be hurt from this?
First day of college. First day of sophomore year. Part 2.
First day of junior year.
First day of senior year. First day of grad school. First day of my second year of grad school. First day of my third year of grad school. First day of my senior year of grad school.
Wow. I'm so happy I found that one. So today we're going to talk about the trans free fall. We all knew this was coming. We all knew trans is a trend. We knew it was very high in the young people space, from TikTok to Instagram to all of the platforms where these young people hang out, and universities. So many trans young people in universities. And we have been talking about this for a long time, and here it comes. So today I'm going to show you and read you an article where, first off, this person, his name is Eric Kaufman, for the Center for Heterodox Social Science, showed a graph of trans identification is in free fall among the young. And then all the trans activists freaked out and said that's not true, blah, 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 blah. Well, today an article was sent to me that shows that this article is pretty much true and that the science behind it does reflect there is a free fall. So I'm going to read you some of those stats. But before we get forward, thank you all so much for subscribing to my channel. It's growing every day. I really appreciate you listening to me. I appreciate you really having the conversations on Wednesday. And really, this I just love that we're creating this space to have these conversations, and you're giving me the opportunity to educate you on things you might not understand. And I might not understand, but together we can learn and move forward and make the world a better place, okay? Especially for these youngsters. We all knew it. We knew it. We just knew these kids were suffering from other things and they got sucked into transness. So I'm going to show you some trans videos, and then I'm going to intertwine it with this article, okay? So let me bring this, that one I wanted to show you starting off with, because you can literally see they started their first day of college, and by the end of college, they were trans. It's like, actually, thank you for that video. Wow, I would really love to check this kid out later on. So check this one out.
This makes me so happy because I feel like trans people who don't want to be on hormones are so overlooked. And it makes us feel invisible, but we're here and we're just as trans as everyone else. We just don't experience our identities the same way. Or maybe we do experience them the same way, but we go about it differently. Who cares?
I do.
Just get sick of seeing people say that you have to be on hormones to be trans or to be valid in your trans identity, because that's so untrue. Being trans is not about passing certain requirements. It's about experiencing your gender outside of the binary or outside of the cisnormative binary. So don't let anyone tell you you have to do something if that's not how you want to do it, or people tell you that you have to experience your gender in a certain way, because you don't. And you don't owe anyone a justification for why you don't, or why you don't want to do things that people think you should do.
So first off, that's bullshit. Okay, so I want, again, that's a person who's identifying as a trans man. What part of man do you see there? Secondly, why are so many of these young, this isn't a child, this is probably an 18 or plus old, holding these little toys like children. It's just so immature, the whole thing. Thirdly, yes, you do. Transition, transsexualism / transgender is moving from one to the other. So that's why there's a free fall in this whole trans thing, because they're not like me. They're not transsexual. They don't have gender dysphoria. A person who has gender dysphoria wants to look like a man or a woman, period. They've skewed the whole thing, and that's why we knew eventually this was going to drop, the bottom was going to drop out, and here it comes. So after this one, I want to show you this. I want to read a little bit of this article because it's pretty powerful, and I think it's going to really blow away all the things people have been trying to say. Transgender freefall. Additional research affirms that trans, in quotes, madness is losing its grip. It does. So gender ideology holds into widely conflicting ideas as paramount. First, man and women are supposedly mere social constructs. Second, a trans man or woman is a very real thing in nature that no one may question. The truth is, trans is a famously elastic psychic creation. True. It is well documented that trans youth tend to strongly desist in their gender confusion as they mature into puberty and young adulthood. A 2024 Dutch study published in the highly respected Archives of Sexual Behavior found that gender non-contentedness is most common around the age of 11 and that the prevalence decreases with age, appearing to be associated with a poor self-concept. That's right, concept and mental health through development. It is so ridiculous. That's what's happening is they're giving these kids these words, trans, and that you're not really a boy or girl. Oh, gender is just a social construct. I knew it from so long that you're giving this idea that you can just change from a man or a woman or a boy to a girl at 11. So it's clear that. So it goes on to say, now, thanks to research from University of Buckingham's Eric Kaufman, the identity itself appears to be declining among young Americans, as World Opinions has noted. However, some have contested Kaufman's findings here, and it gives links, and I'll put the link to this in the description, saying there were methodological problems with the data interpretation and conclusion. Professor Hoffman responded to these critics on X through his Center for Heterodox Social Science. And there's a Substack, and I'll give a link to that. The good news is we are not left wondering. Strong confirmation of Kaufman's original conclusions emerged. And the person who did it is another notable research scholar, Jean Twenge of San Diego State University, took great interest in Kaufman's original claims and the academic challenges brought by his three critics. She wondered if there might be better nationally representative data stats that bridge the methodological question. She wrote 2 revealing articles, and I'll link to those. I'm not going to read to all of those, okay? So I want to skip to stats because I'm all about stats. Among 18 to 20-year-olds identifying as trans increased 58% between 2021 and 2023. COVID, then it bobbled a bit. She explains, going down and then up again in late 2023 and early 2024. It then significantly declined almost by half in the second half of 2024 to nearly the 2021 levels of 2%. Twenge observes, it appears identifying as transgender peaked in early 2024 among younger adults, even at the population level. But she also admits it's hard to say if the late 2024 decline is a blip or the start of a real trend. And she goes on to talk about a lot of really great things, but I want to give you another couple videos here to sort of coincide with what I'm trying to show you. These young people were identifying as trans. I want to say, thank God some of them don't take testosterone and didn't do surgery. They only did identification. Actually, thank God for that. Even though I always argued you cannot be trans without actually transitioning medically because you would want to do that, maybe there was something saving us for these young people that was saying you don't have to transition medically to be trans. Maybe that was actually a godsend on some level. Maybe it was.
It's really easy when you're trans to kind of get stuck in a mindset of like, being trans is to suffer. A lot of people argue that you need to experience gender dysphoria to be considered trans. I, however, disagree. I disagree mainly because I don't think that trans people should equate suffering to our identity. Like, I don't think that trans suffering and trans like dysphoria should be like the running, like you have to experience this to be trans. Instead,
it's just crazy.
I think that in order to consider yourself trans in order to be trans. You need to experience gender euphoria. Gender euphoria is kind of more of a new concept for me because it's taken me a really, really, really long time to figure out what my gender euphoria like means for me. And like,
see, she's just making it up. She's making it up so she could be. And also, if you read the part up there where it says, what is gender euphoria for a feminine trans man? They're not even trying to be masculine. They're not trying to be, so they created this whole persona of trans. And this is a good, like I said earlier, a good and a bad thing. But it's why it's declining. 100% why it's because these people never had gender dysphoria. They do not have gender dysphoria. They have an identity crisis. Big difference. It's actually plastered to their identity. Again, I want to bring to your attention the stuffed animal. What? Oh my God. Wow.
Random trans mask euphoria tip for you. Just have your mom buy you a shirt that has all the sports on it from the biggest city near you. Because you don't own anything else like that, and all of a sudden you've been wearing it way too much since it was bought for you.
What?
Or anything like that. I don't own anything sports at all, because I'm not into that, and I don't know what's going on. But I've been wearing it pretty much every time. It's been not too dirty.
I mean, really, I have to show you these kids that are on TikTok. What are you talking about? She is trying to be masculine by wearing a sports t-shirt, have stereotypes, yet this person isn't into sports, yet they're gonna wear a sports t-shirt because that's what a trans, and also, can't you just feel something going on with this kid right here? You could just feel the mental health stuff going on. Why are you on TikTok? What's going on with you, kiddo? Why aren't you getting some help? You need help. So now I want to go to this graft, which I'm going to show you, right? This is the graft that was shown all over, and people were like, that's not true, that's not true. And I'm going to show you that it pretty much is true. And it shows from 2019 how it went up, and it shows the three spaces that were the three universities, or the three, Andover, Fire, and Brown. These are all the universities that, and Fire being an organization, human rights organization. Anyway, it all shows them, all the lines going up from every single study. All the lines going up in 23, it's at peak, and then it just starts coming down, fall. Okay? So now I'm going to go back to that article I was showing you from Dr. Twinge, okay? From the data, she concludes, and again, I'm going to put this here so you can read the whole thing, okay? It turns out identifying as transgender really is in free fall among the young in the U.S. So is identifying as non-binary. In other words, Kaufman was right with what some consider the wrong data, but still right. She adds, for now, it looks like the peak of trans identification is in the past. The good professor was not done in her gender ideology, has no foundation case, though. In October 23 follow-up, both articles, she explains how the CES study she drew from in her second article started allowing open-ended answers to the question, what is your gender? In 2021, she reports, this did not go as planned. And she says, to their credit, CES research administrators posted every response they received. And Twinge writes, the anger in these responses in the CES leaps off the page. Many simply mock the question. A piece of layered cake. I identify as a potato, vaccinated coffee pot, an attack helicopter. Others expressed unvarnished disdain for gender theory. I have no gender. I'm an adult human female. My sex is female. I'm not gender believer. I'm a male sex. Gender is bullshit. Sex is real. There should only be two answers to this question. So Twins notes that these strong responses are a small window into America's views on gender. She is right. Data demonstrates an increasingly strong rejection of gender ideology fictions. More of us are realizing our created bodies speak beautiful truths, not destructive lies. But this is what I'm trying to say. All of that shit the trans activists were pushing, all the lies, all the deceit, has actually hurt their cause more than they'll never get back from that, ever. As I and Blair and Marcus and many of us transsexuals sat here saying, we're biologically female and male. We know what we are. We understand that. We were fighting against this insanity. And now that the truth is coming out, and you know, what is it? The proof is in the pudding. Is that it? It's literally, you're going to see the actual real hard data, which is real kids, real people, real university students dropping like this out of this insane identity of trans.
Pro tip from someone who just escaped cis psychosis, essentially. Just because you feel pretty, like you feel like you look pretty, does not mean that is gender euphoria. From one trans dude to another. Just because you look good doesn't mean you necessarily feel good, even though you look in the mirror and you go, wow, I look really pretty. I must be good with this. That's not the same. What? Not the same. Fair warning. Escape while you can. Trust me, guys. Trust me.
You see that's self-hate for being a pretty girl. That's literally self-hate for being a pretty girl or a cute girl or whatever is going on with this young lady. Because they're actually, again, then they always talk negatively about cis people. I don't want to be a cis person. I don't want to look like a cis person. What do you want to look like then? What is it that you all want to look like? I'm so totally blown away by what you want to look like. This.
Normalize passability not being the end goal of somebody's gender transition. Non-binary or not everybody wants to pass. I don't want to look like a cis man. I want people to be able to look at me and be like, that's a trans person. Why? Because trans is hot. You have every right to disagree with me. You'd be wrong, but you have the right to be wrong. I do have one condition though. I don't want people to know how I'm trans. By the time I'm done reducing some things and masculinizing others, I want people to know that's a trans person. I just don't want them to know where I started or where I'm trying to go. I just want confusion and chaos to reign upon those around me, be they friend or foe. That is the end goal of my gender transition. Normalize passability.
Well, there you go. They just spelled it out for you. They don't want to look like a cis person. They don't want to look male or female. They want to, what does trans look like? This is the thing and why they try to tell us there's 5,000 different genders out there. Because they're trying to be different. All they want to be is different. That's it. They just don't want to be a man or a woman. But I hate to break the news to you, young lady. You look like a girl. Okay, until you maybe put some facial hair on or muscle, all right, you're always going to look like a girl and sound like a girl, because you do. So this is why I want to show you. They don't want to pass. I keep telling you in every video, and why this is going to be a free fall hardcore. Because the people are bored now. That's what happens with trends. Trends get boring. Young people get bored and they go to the next trend and they go to the next trend. You can just go to TikTok and see there's always a new trend on TikTok and they push the trend. Okay? Trans is not really the trend anymore. So now it's going to be like, I don't really want to look trans. I want to look like X, Y, and Z. I don't really want to be this. That'll be the next trend. But this is why I'm showing you all of these people talking about gender euphoria or trans euphoria or all the things. And thank God, like I said earlier, contrary to what I will tell you what a transsexual is, that a lot of these kids did not take hormones and do surgery. So they'll just be able to walk right out of the trans identity back into being a boy or a girl. Now, I have to show you these because I have to show you the damage that has been done.
It was in fact mental illness. I was not trans. This just goes to show you, it's a fucking TikTok trend. Wow. It is.
No, it was a TikTok trend for you. Why do certain detransitioners feel the need to speak for trans people
No one's
as if
speaking
we
for-
have the same experience? We don't. And you wouldn't believe how insulting it is for you to come online and say that being trans is a TikTok trend when it may be for you, but for some of us, it's real. I'm fully supportive if you want to detransition. You found yourself, it's your own journey. What I don't support is you coming online and claiming being trans is a TikTok trend. That I do not agree with. If you felt comfortable enough to say that, then that means you have zero understanding of the struggles trans people go through on a daily basis, because you'd know that none of those struggles would be considered trendy. So I hope you reflect and think before you speak online, really.
I hope you reflect before you speak online, because you don't represent transsexual people, buddy. Secondly, that person has every right to say that if they were caught up in that what I said is a TikTok trend. So sit down, little one. You don't know shit, okay? You shouldn't even be on TikTok talking about your transition, okay? So that person has every right. They were sucked into it. I just showed you stats, buddy. I just showed you the whole thing. Why are you so insecure about people saying that? Why do you care if someone says trans is a TikTok trend? Why do you care about any of that? If you're solid in your own space, why do you care so much? Take care of your own self. But there are way more people being hurt by the TikTok trend and the trans euphoria than you will ever even know until you sit down and listen, especially to your elders. This will be the backlash of the whole trans ideological identity movement.
Kobe, I am a male to female to male detransitioner. I started transitioning socially around the age of 13. Then I moved on to puberty blockers. First it was spironolactone, and then it was a GnRH agonist, which is an implant that they put in the arm. And then, I started the estrogen when I was 16. Lived that way until really a couple of months ago, 2 months ago. And then I got my surgery at 19, my castration. I was expecting it to help my mental health. And it didn't do anything. I just wasted so much time. And all I did really was become a medical patient for life. I'm a pretty compassionate person. I care. I mean, I do care about kids that are suffering with gender dysphoria and everything. And I think that they deserve help, but I don't think that help is puberty blockers,
So, I think what's so interesting is that no one wants to listen to the people who actually have the experience, right? He's lying. He never was trans in the first place. All the rhetoric and bullshit. You don't care about actual trans people if you say that. We should care more than ever about these young people who are going to come out of this medically so destroyed for the rest of their lives. So destroyed. But no, you got to blame them for making the wrong choice. How can a 13-year-old make a wrong choice without a fucking adult telling them it's okay to make this? That 13-year-old did not make that fucking choice. It was an adult or two adults or three adults. And I know I'm yelling. I'm sorry. What? So no, trans activism, trans ideology, trans euphoria, trans trend TikTok, all of it is at fault for this young man who's castrated. That's just one of the large amount of youngsters that are going to fully come out of this destroyed. We've been screaming at the top of our lungs about this, and I'm just appalled. But thank you, God, for finally giving us statistics and showing it's a trend. It's been a trend. It is now falling. Trends fall. I am not a trend. I never fell. Okay? Transsexuals never fell. We just continue to move forward in our lives. Okay? I will continue to tell you, I wish I was born a man, but I was not. When you hear these young people say, I don't want to be cis, that's not the goal. That's just all bullshit rhetoric, trans ideological activism. That's all that is. It has nothing to do with transsexualism or transgender, whatever you want to call it. Zero. It has to do with a trend. So with that, I went on one of my weirdo little rants. I don't know. Was it weird? No, it's not. I'm not going to say that. It was actually just me. I care. I effing care. So I always give you an update on baby girl who's doing amazing, but today I want to give you an update on Arjuna, my dog, because I'm gonna put the photo of him here because it's just so awesome and beautiful. You know, Arjie's his nickname. Arjuna's having a hard time because he feels left out, so giving him extra love. So today I wanted to highlight Arjuna, and I want you all to give Arjuna a big hug because he needs it, and he doesn't want it. I don't want him to feel left out, but it's true. He feels a little left out. I never even thought about that. I actually didn't. I thought more about my son and him being left out of it, but he doesn't. He loves the baby girl, and we asked him if he was cool about us adopting, and 100% he was. So I guess I forgot to ask Arjuna. So with that, I hope you see what's going on here. Thank you so much for supporting these videos. It means the world to me. I got some really good stuff I've been researching. Next couple videos coming out are going to be pretty intense, okay? So, not that this wasn't. So with that, I hope you guys all have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.